just go out from your probably the comfort zone or your comfort industry and try to get into some other industries.
Hey, my name is Felix Tia, and I'm the host of Shopify Masters, a weekly podcast powered by Shopify, the easiest way to sell online, in person, and anywhere in between. Each week, we invite entrepreneurs to share their experience and practical advice for growing a successful e-commerce business. In this episode, you'll learn how to know which features to focus on when differentiating yourself from competition, how to convince a retailer to test out your product in their physical store, and what important questions to answer when designing food packaging. Today, I'm joined by Raivis Vaitekuns from Coffee Pixels. Coffee Pixels is reinventing the coffee experience by turning coffee into a mobile, ready-to-eat coffee bar with superfood qualities, and was started in 2016 and in Besa, Latvia. Welcome, Raivis.
Hey, Felix. Awesome to be there.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. So tell us a bit more about this this coffee bar that you guys have created.
Well, for a listener, the easiest way would be imagining like a coffee chocolate that really is more coffee than chocolate. But the texture wise and the from the looks, it looks just like a chocolate bar. The different thing is that it's a bit smallish in the size, and and really different is that once you start kind of eating it, you feel that it really doesn't taste like chocolate, but rather like coffee. And that's one of I guess the big successes we've had with the product is that we've nailed the flavor of coffee so well that even people from the coffee industry and as I consider myself one of participants in the specialty coffee community. So people from specialty coffee community are recognizing the flavor as being good, and they really kind of find it as a coffee flavor. Because one of the problems with the coffee products when they're not really coffee as a beverage, we know, is that it's not really coffee flavor that we enjoy in the beverage that we can experience in products like cakes, candies, and so on. So it's usually the name is coffee, but the flavor is something else than the coffee that we like to drink. But what we did, we made a bar that really tastes like quality coffee, and that's one of the successes of the product. It's not just as you mentioned, it's superfood, or it's with superfood qualities, but it also tastes very good.
Now, where did the idea come from? How did you discover that there was a demand for this kind of product?
Well, obviously, we didn't discover that there's a demand for the product. The product actually was created more like an experiment while the founder team, so it's me and two of my cousins who are brothers. So we used to run a coffee shop together. That actually was the first specialty coffee shop in Latvia at that time. So we found a cafe and shop 2010. So for 6 years we were just running a shop and developing the specialty coffee community back in Riga, Latvia. But with that time, 6 years doing the same thing, kind of life gets a bit boring, and we started to look for new ventures. So we wanted to start doing something with coffee that would be a production business, so we could have a more of an impact outside of our local community and spread out our product and our maybe ideas through the world. So we tried different things. We tried something called cold brew. Probably listeners know that. Mm-hmm. As it's quite big in States and Western Europe. So Latvia is a bit of a Nordic country, so people don't really go for a cold coffee so much. So that was a good try, but not really something we could see as a business to develop. But then the idea of making something like chocolate out of coffee bean, actually we found it online. And we are really not the first company that is doing something like that. At that point, we really thought that we are one of the first, but actually, when we started to search around, we found that there are some other companies that are doing basically making chocolate out of coffee beans. So the idea arrived through online, but then when we tried out the idea and we tried out the final product, we really understood that there's so much to develop the product. So it actually could be a business that we would like to work with and to invest our time and to see the things growing.
I was going to ask, so there was already competition out there that you discovered. There are already companies that are producing something similar. Why did you, as a team, decide to proceed and move forward and try to develop this further rather than, just try finding something or essentially inventing something new? Like, what made you say, let's keep on going forward, even though you found that there's already competition out there?
So, actually, at a super early stage, we really didn't find a competition out there the product these kind of products they are still very few, and it's not so easy to kind of find the right words. Actually, how do you find edible coffee products online? So there are many type of like granola type of bars that are with coffee, and people call them probably edible coffee. So we saw that there really at the early stage we really didn't find a competition. So we proceeded in kind of naive mindset that we are the first ones. So but obviously soon enough we found that there are some competition. But one thing I have to mention why we are so different compared to other edible coffee companies or companies that make chocolate out of coffee beans. What makes us different is that we use the whole coffee berry or whole coffee cherry. The terminology is still not decided, but coffee is a fruit that grows on the tree, and usually what we make a beverage out of is the seed of the fruit. But what we are doing, we're using the whole coffee fruit. So it's not just the seed or coffee bean that we know, but also the fruity, like a shell that sits around the coffee bean while it's on the tree. So that gives our product also this like a fruity kind of flavor. So it's not just bitter and chocolate-like what you experience in maybe darker roasted coffee, but it's more like those specialty light roasted coffees where you experience like notes of citrus and berries and maybe some floral notes. So that makes us really special. So we believed in two things, I must say, in the product. So we believed at that point the flavor of the product. So it was, we still believe it's really nice, and we receive plenty of compliments about the flavor of the product. So that was one thing. So we really thought that we have not experienced something like this in the world, and till this day, I must say, with all the competition now on the spectrum, I still believe that our product tastes the best. Then so that's one unique thing about the product. What made us believe to proceed. And other thing is that the recipe and the concept of introducing whole coffee cherry into one product, that's something that nobody else has done so far. And also this principle of using coffee bean and coffee cherry part together makes our product the first truly wasteless coffee product in the world. So meaning we produce something that you can eat and get your caffeine kick out of, but no waste is created. So we don't throw nothing out in the bin. So you just eat whole coffee cherry as it was sitting on a tree. Obviously, we process the parts separately, but then recombine them back into one bar.
Yeah, so obviously you found this kind of secret sauce, an angle to change in your version of the product to stand out above the competition. How did you know to focus on those aspects of the product rather than some other angle or some other aspects?
Well, actually, what helped us was the fact that we were also active players, at least in Latvia, and participants in a whole European specialty coffee community. And specialty coffee is all about kind of saving the coffee industry from dying in near future, as coffee producers still receives extremely small wages, and they are starting to look more and more how to get alternative incomes that would make their life better. So sustainability was this big issue, and it's still a big issue in the coffee industry. And there's like a light bulb went on when we found that you can make coffee, which is really delicious, from the whole coffee cherry. So that was this one property that we thought, well, this is something that we should bring out in the world. I think this is the main fact about coffee pixels. Why we still believe that it's needed in the world. Well, now we know that it also works very well, and all the other findings that we've found later on when starting to kind of build a business and they look more deeply into what we've created at the beginning.
So you and the founding team were running coffee shop together. How did you guys find the time to develop a product? How did you split up your day and your time so that you had the time to work on developing coffee pixels?
Well, as many people, I guess, will agree with me. When you run your own business, you don't kind of count hours. You just do things based on your passion and drive. And once you kind of get this like a new idea that you really want to try it out, you don't really have problems finding time to kind of execute on it when it's really something that you want just do whenever it's possible. It can be your free time. It can be like a night time while your family is sleeping. It's just you want to execute on the idea. And the same was with coffee pixels. So we were having a meetings after the work while we were running a shop, and the first prototypes of the product were also like processed at home, not really in a production facility. So it was really like you hear those stories when you start out in a garage. So we were running coffee shops, so we had this like a platform where to try those ideas out. But we spent extra time that we just had as a free time. So we spent our free time to develop the idea, and then we tried the idea out in our own platform. And that was kind of it's went well, very good together. So if we wouldn't have the coffee shop, then we would have this another problem where to kind of try the product. Will people really buy it, or is it really necessary? So we started selling it even, like you in a coffee shop, you can bake a brownie, and you don't have to make a packaging and all the things around the product that we have now, and you have to have when it's like a separate business. But that the early point, we just made a bar, and we could try it on our own community and our own customers, and hear what they think about the products.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That because you own a shop, there were a lot of barriers that you could remove, and you could take advantage of certain assets that you already had by owning a place that people are already coming to. You didn't have to package it up or anything. Now, as someone that owned do you still run the coffee shop today?
No, not anymore. So
okay.
The running a business that we believe will grow internationally as a huge company, from the super early stage, it asks for a lot of energy. So,
sure. As someone that owned a shop, if someone out there were to approach you and want to test their product out in one of your shops, is that something that you would typically, for anyone out there that doesn't have the access to the assets that you had at the time, but wants to try the same approach by going to a shop for example, and seeing if they were willing to place their products into that shop, what kind of advice can you give there? Like what as a shop owner, what would convince you to allow someone to place their product in your store?
But first of all, the product has to be really good. So I think the world is complicated, but then on the other hand, when the product is really good, and you really haven't seen something like that before, I think shop owners, they would just be curious about how this thing works with their customers. So we've had some like creative ideas, and in collaboration with creative people, and we have tried out some other experiments. Probably not food, but some like posters, and we actually did a calendar once. As the shop we used to run wasn't just a coffee shop, but it also started. Initially, it started as a coffee and bike workshop. So we have had some other ideas that we did execute also in the shop. So I would say if it's creative idea, if it's really quality, and if it's not like another idea of product where people, sometimes you just don't need any more new products. Like nowadays, just one of the examples from my mind, like iPhones have those like stabilizers when you can attach your phone and you keep it in your hand, and this one product is really good, but then you see someone else made a product that's like maybe there's
socket.
one more button. Yeah. So you don't need many businesses doing the same product type, right? So the same with if I run a shop, and let's say if I produce my own brownies, and someone else comes and says, "Oh, here are my brownies, which are like a bit different," but then I see, well, they're pretty much the same, man. So I would say if the idea is unique, or it's really well executed, or it's really high quality, shops should be interested to provide this value to their own community.
I see. So you can't come in with a product that's just maybe a little bit different or maybe a little bit better than what they are already selling. You have to come in with almost like a new category. In your example, exactly. You have like a bar, which you practically, at least here in the U.S., you don't really see I don't see anything like this at all when I go into a coffee shop. So you got to bring a completely unique product that is not that can almost, just by looking at it, you can differentiate it from the existing products that are in the store already.
Yeah, exactly. So things like that, like if you in a shop, I would sell like a bunch of lemonades, stuff like Coke and similar. So if you would come in with something that, well, I have a new lemonade. Come on, man, the world is full with lemonade. So, but if you come in with like, I don't know, birch sap lemonade, which is something you haven't experienced before, and something really unique, and other aspect is that it's not just unique, or it's not just new idea, but it's really well executed. And that's one of the big problems as well I see in the world, is that people develop the ideas just because they're new. But I think this property of new product, it's not something that you will sell the product later on based on this feature as it's new, right? So in 2 years, it's not going to be new.
Yeah, so it actually has to solve a problem. It can't just you can't just base it or bank on it being new and novel. It actually has to have longevity. It has to actually solve a problem. Yeah, how long did it take to create a version of the product that was ready to be produced at scale?
So I must say about half a year was the time while we were from the moment when we decided let's do it till the moment when it was ready to showcase to people around us. So obviously the product has developed with super small steps still since then, and probably people who are not so involved with Coffee Pixels, they probably haven't noticed some changes that we've done. But it was about half a year with experimenting and then finding the right recipes and fine-tuning and learning the craft. Actually, I must say it went quite quickly. I guess from what I've heard from other people, kind of trying new ideas and how long it usually takes for them to develop something. For us, it was half a year, and I must say it was quite quickly.
Well, why do you think it happened so quickly for you?
I think we had the necessary know-how, so we had the knowledge about coffee already. So as I was also involved with Specialty Coffee Association as one of the trainers for the regions. So we had the know-how about coffee. So we were really not kind of searching in the darkness. We already knew the approximate direction where to go. Mm-hmm. Then all the necessary new information that we had to learn was also there as we really had to find a way how to make chocolate from coffee, and the internet is full of knowledge how to make a chocolate. So out of chocolate, obviously, out of cocoa powder and a traditional recipe. But yeah, that was one part, and I guess probably one of the other reasons was that we had this drive to kind of make it happen. We really wanted it to work. So we didn't kind of take time off to try new stuff and to try new versions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you were developing the product, what were some of the most significant changes that you were making during the prototyping and the testing and developing phase of the product?
It's the positioning of the product in the market. So I have to say that they were not like super huge kind of things or aspects that we did change during the prototyping phase. So we were really driving for two versions of our product. We found one of them more quickly, as it does involve milk, and everyone knows that how coffee and milk works together, and so that was kind of quick job. And then it took a bit longer for the other like original or Cascada version to be made. And
these were like differences in taste, or like what was the
there are mostly differences in taste, as one is more like a cappuccino or latte, so that more of like a milky style coffee, and another, or the original one, is that the one with coffee cherry inside, so it's more like an espresso or black coffee. So I have to say that till the moment when we made the bar and the flavor, we didn't really have like huge changes in the process. But the big changes started afterwards, when we really wanted to kind of package the product, and we started to look for the market where we really should offer the product, as people believe that it's nice and it's necessary, it's delicious, but then what else? Is it just because of it's delicious? Is it just because it's like a novelty idea? So we really had to find a way how to package it for the consumer, and that is a journey that we are still on, and that is kind of. There are many questions that we are still looking for answers now, and we have had the product packaged more as a gourmet good, where you kind of look for experience in the flavor, and you have this like a special moment like the quality chocolate. But then again, we found that people are really buying the product not because of the flavor, but more because of the boost the coffee gives them. So we redesigned the packaging and redesigned the messaging around the product, and that was the biggest shift in our direction as a company, as we went from specialty coffee and this flavor experience driven to someone that is now, I would say, more like energy bar and performance driven. It's still delicious, it's still super sustainable like no other, but we see that our customer is not really looking for the bar because of the flavor, but more because of the functionality that the bar provides.
Yeah, so it sounds like you guys put together packaging early on, but then had a lot of open questions on if this is the right approach, is this the right packaging? What kind of questions today are you glad now that you have the answer to based on, through your experience? What kind of questions about packaging do you feel like, thankful that you have the answer to?
Yeah, well, one a bit more specific case, more specific question in our case is that in the beginning we were struggling how big the bar should be, how big how big is the product that customer should buy, and so in the beginning we went for something that is like a double shot espresso in the strength, and then size wise it also was a bit larger, and now we found our perfect form factor with small bar that is just like one espresso in the caffeine, and it's super kind of handy. It's super easy to use, easy to open. The pack is sealed. You can really you can go surfing with it, and it's protected from the elements, and that is something that I'm glad that we found our face like a product like this energy functional chocolate that's made from 100% coffee. So yeah.
How did you arrive at that? How did you arrive at that answer to change the size? It was almost like you cut the packaging in half.
Well, yeah. We cut in half almost like, because it was like two bars on top of each other. It wasn't like bigger one, but more the thicker one. But we just were listening to what our customers say, and we were hearing that customers like to use it on their daily adventures, and they find those small moments in their day when to kind of experience the edible coffee. But then again, they were reporting that they would like to save it for later times because it's open already, and they don't want it to kind of be exposed to environment. So that was one thing that then they again were complaining that, well, for such small of a bar, the price is a bit high, and we were listening and just taking the notes, and yeah, it's just listening to the market. That's all.
How are you agile or flexible enough to just redesign the packaging like that? Like, what's your setup to be able to just react, that quickly to feedback from customers?
Well, it wasn't quickly though. The packaging, it almost took a year for us to kind of find the right questions and answers to them, as the company was established in late 2016, but around October 2016, we already kind of start having the first packaged versions of the product in our cafe. We still kind of sold it as an in-house made product, but it was wrapped in the packaging. And the flexibility was just from the fact as we were selling so little, and everything was done by hand. And at that point, we didn't have like huge stocks of packaging pre-order up front. So we just decided, let's try something new with the next batch of packaging. So we were really kind of starting small and experimenting with everything we could possibly experiment with, like packaging, messaging on the packaging, messaging on socials, and calling the product different names, and watching what caught the air the best. So yeah, we as the company was super small, or the products that we, or capacities that we produce were super small at the early stage, and they're still not huge now compared to what we are expecting in the future to come. But yeah, that's what made us being flexible, the small scale.
Got it. So for a food product, what are some of the key messaging or key design elements that you recommend store owners or entrepreneurs consider including on their packaging?
Well, this one's tricky because I must say that when we think about our own packaging, we usually don't kind of look on what others are doing, as we really try to kind of design our product from the scratch. Probably that also makes us to step on the kind of same mistakes that some other companies have probably gone through already, and probably we could learn from them. But we really want to be kind of different as a food product. So you actually, when we speak about identity of the Coffee Pixels, we really get inspired from what tech is doing now, what tech startups are doing, and what's their approach to design. And actually, with Coffee Pixels, sometimes we have this like internal joke that Coffee Pixels is just a new application for coffee. The old application was the liquid one, and this one is a bit better. It's more sustainable and more mobile. And we try to really kind of live with this textile mindset. So we also see that when we go out in some trade shows and we compare our product to some other products in the market, whether they're chocolates or coffees, we see that our product is really standing out. And that would be my suggestion to other food entrepreneurs. Just don't look into what food's been doing for years and years. Probably you should look into what other industries are doing and what people like from other industries, and maybe to kind of experiment and make something new out of maybe ideas that are used to probably people thought about kind of making chocolate or coffee like tech designed product would be a stupid idea maybe in the history, but at this point I think people are excited to see something new, something that they haven't kind of seen before. So my suggestion would be not to probably have this must-have points, but rather don't take anything serious from what's been done before, and try being creative with your own ideas and mix match industries and designs together. So, yeah.
I see what you're saying, because I think that's a great point about how you can only go so far by looking at what's already happening and what's already happened in your industry, in your category. But if you want to bring essentially some revolution to the industry you're in, you should try to be inspired by what other industries are doing, see how you can apply what you're seeing there to your business, your brand. Can you talk a little about this? Like, what are some things that you've noticed in your example in the tech industry that you as a team want to or have ported over to your business?
So that definitely has been the whole startup mindset. As usually, at least in our region, it's not so common to kind of build food companies in a startup manner. So you raise some early investment, and you kind of develop some prototypes. You try things out, then you probably raise some more money. So usually, if you kind of have this food type of company, it's either backed with some big cash, or you just start small and you struggle slowly up with your mistakes and successes, as it used to happen like for a century. But one thing that we, at least in our market, did different was having this startup style of startup kind of mindset. It also drew some success to us, as we were also going to startup conferences, and as they were not really kind of specialized into one or another type of startups, we were kind of openly invited and accepted there. But then again, let's say there's one startup conference in Estonia, and we went there as just a showcase our product, as just a startup to participate. But then again, we found that we are the only non-tech startup in the conference, and it kind of gave us a much more of a spotlight compared to what everyone else was doing, because everyone else they were competing against each other with their tech solutions. But we were like standing out. Oh, people came here and really were surprised that we have something tangible, something that you can experience in real life, not a digital product. So that was something I would also recommend to other people. Just go out from your probably the comfort zone or your comfort industry and try to get into some other industries. And it shouldn't be always tech. You can, I don't know, make beer and go to probably dog expos and promote your product to dog owners, whatever. So just don't stick with what's been done for many years.
Right. You don't want to be in a food-based business and then go to like a food expo. I mean, you might want to, but you're not going to stand out the way that you would be if you were to go, if you're the only food business in your example, in the tech expo. What made you choose the tech industry specifically? What attracted you and your team to focus on paying attention to that industry and trying to get into that industry and getting into these tech events?
Well, then the story is a bit kind of longer. Actually, before making Coffee Pixels, I must say all of the team was really getting into kind of, how to call it now, this modern times, personal development probably, and you listen to podcasts and you listen to successful entrepreneurs and you listen to opinion leaders, and one of them definitely I have to mention is like Gary Vaynerchuk, and those guys are usually speaking about startups, and they're speaking about their success stories, and they're usually all about tech companies. Like some probably were like, I don't know, maybe Quest Bar was one of those inspiring stories which wasn't a tech company, but in most cases, like 99%, those were tech companies that were those unicorns that disrupted the market, and they did really kind of inspire us to build a company that would really conquer the world. So it just, as at that point when we were learning, the tech industry was booming in the same time. So it was just an influence because of the fact that we lived in the same year and time.
Got it. How do you measure success at being one of these events?
All right. So one of super bright examples is the same conference I was telling you before in Estonia. So there was a pitch competition, and there was like this special prize from Fukuoka city, which is in Japan, the fifth largest city in Japan. So they were looking for a startup to support in entering the Japanese market. So obviously we won the competition for this prize, and we have some activities slowly but steadily developing in Japan. And like a month ago, I just returned from Japan, where I met finally the people that invited us over and are helping us to start working in Japanese market. So super bright example. So developing your business in Japan, that's like a super opportunity that we were not really looking into and expecting before. Then again, some other show brought us a large customer, like telecommunication, like cell phone company that bought a huge amount of Coffee Pixels as a white label for their friends and customers. And so yeah, you either get a deal or you get the support somehow. But we definitely have felt that it's been a success for us. Yeah.
What about online? What's working for you with marketing and getting the brand out online?
So I have to add that if we speak about marketing and online, we are still considering ourselves doing our first baby steps, because we kind of have this know-how how things should work, but as our strategy and our kind of growth and everything, like our daily routine is as it is, we haven't had the opportunity to execute on everything that we know that it's necessary. So at this point, online is doing some part of our business, but as our product is it's so different to what people have experienced before, because edible coffee is like raising a lot of questions. And we have tried to develop not just online, but also a retail. And we've seen that for super early stage, retail is doing slightly better, because people get the experience to try the product sometimes. Like you have this degustation opportunity, and they try it, and then once they understand what it's about, then they go for a purchase. But with online, we definitely look on online as our main sales channel in the future. And so we are all about providing value to our customer, and we are doing some blog posts, and we are updating our customer on the industry news. So it's coffee mostly, and we see that it needs the online kind of, it needs a lot of job to be done prior kind of having this huge success and huge growth that people sometimes think is happening like overnight. But as this many businesses that have had this kind of quote overnight success, they're saying that it actually takes not overnight, but over a couple of years, and then just people notice them one night, and they think that it just pop up. But it takes a lot of time, and for us it's the same. We continue developing our content. It's still not as frequent and not as much as we really look forward to it being. But just doing what we can at this point.
Right. So speaking of the day-to-day grind, what are some day-to-day tasks that you as a team try to hit on a daily basis to grow the business?
Well, at this point, while we are still in this early stage, and while we are doing everything within this small team of 7 people, so we have like 2 people in production, 2 in offline sales, and 3 founders. We are managing production. We are managing marketing, online sales, and PR and communication. And the daily struggles, some of them are just to kind of sell the product physically. So it just to nail the delivery, so it's super fast, as probably some customer has requested. Sometimes things go wrong, and you have to kind of find a solution. But in this stage where we are now, I have to say that the struggle is not something one specific, but the struggle is just to get along with everything together. So just to find a focus for one thing, to kind of execute it, finalize it, then get into another. Because sometimes you're starting to work on your task, and then some loud voice is calling you to the next task because it's important to someone else, and we don't have like a huge team to delegate at this point. And so the struggle is to find the right time for right thing, and definitely being consistent with the online content is something that we are struggling a bit, as none of the guys from the founder team. We're not really kind of, Instagrammers or YouTubers ourselves, but we really understand how important and necessary it is. So we learn the craft while we are growing, and that those are the most of the struggles.
So the offline sales team members, they are going out to sell the product to retailers, or what's that function? What's the role? What's the function of that role?
Yeah, well, we are kind of agreeing on the markets that we are going to kind of execute them. And once it's agreed, they're looking for prospects in the market, and whether those are resellers or distributors or just the partners that we do direct sales with. Their daily job is to kind of do the sales over the mail and phone and make it happen. So the pixels are in some retail chain or gas station chain, which is one of the hugest surprises for ourselves, is that product like this, which is really like a next generation product in the sense of sustainability and the functionality, but it found its place also in traditional gas station chain. So that their job is just to do the sales as traditional offline product. Yeah, but I don't expect huge growth for this particular department. So I expect more of growth for the online department.
Got it. Now, speaking of online, with the website, was this designed in-house, or how did you guys get the website built?
Yeah, well, at early stage, when the company was forming, we had some help from a design agency, and they helped us with a super early landing page, which was alive for, I must say, some 3-4 months, and then we started to develop, still together with them, this Shopify-based web page, and now it's maintained by ourselves, by me and my cousin, who is more into online marketing, and so there was some help from a design agency in the early stage. They did initial design that we continue to work with, but then again, I have to say that we are collecting the notes for the future update that's hopefully gonna happen this year, and our web page will become more serious, more content saturated with it, and so a place where it's more exciting to spend your time.
Got it. What about applications? Are you using any applications to help run the business or to help enhance the store?
So we've had some tests. We're using a heat map and list builder from Sumo app. We integrated MailChimp, and MailChimp newsletters is something we are also doing, not very frequently, but we're trying our best to become better. We have some plans for subscription services, and that subscription box by Bold that we're looking into. We also tried a live chat trial version, but at that point our track was a bit too small to really have any influence on the way the web page works. Yeah, those are the main applications, and then again, besides applications on Shopify, obviously that's Slack, what I guess everyone's using nowadays instead of emails, and what else? Some applications like Pipedrive, where that's more for an offline team. Yeah, I guess that's it.
And so can you talk a little bit more about the heat maps and list builder from AppSumo? How do you use those?
I cannot really talk a bit more as my cousin is the one who is really hands on on the hands on these applications and fine tuning the web. I know that we're looking on a heat map to find what customers are doing on the web page. What is subject of their interest, and so we really try to work with the messaging at the locations on the web where we see that customer is spending too little of the time in opposition to what we were planning. So yeah, just tracking how our customer is doing online and how we can make their experience more pleasant, and how we can make them to get the messages that we're trying to push out.
So coffeepixels.com is a website for anyone who wants to check it out, check out the product. It's actually a very cool looking product. I love the brand name and how it's related to the design of the product itself. Where do you see the business a year from today?
Well, that's a tough one. As we are really looking for next round of investment, and in that investment we have included setting up the team with the necessary professionals to really start working more on content and delivery of the content and all the IT side of the web page. So I really in a year I really think that we will be set up as a team. So I will myself finally get into content production, which as I used to be a barista trainer, I really find myself into delivering complicated messages into simple manner. So that's something that we want to do with Coffee Pixels. So there's plenty of fields to explore, like nutrition and energy products and just lifestyle products that relates to being productive and energized through the day. And my drive is to really getting into understanding complicated stuff and making it simple, and to deliver over a different type of media like blog posts and videos. That's something that we're not doing yet, and hopefully within a year we will have like a solid history with videos that we will have already made at that point. Obviously, in a year, I hope to launch our business also in the United States, as currently we are focusing on Nordic Europe, Central Europe. Then there's some separate activities, Japan, some leads in Australia, but definitely or like a milestone for the future is launching Coffee Pixels in the West Coast United States. Seattle to Los Angeles, we see that these are the most ready markets for a product like this. Definitely San Francisco as the hub for all the crazy people doing like startups and nootropics and pushing their limits. I guess Coffee Pixels can provide some value for them as well. So yeah, well, we definitely year is a bit too small for the big goals like conquering the world and bringing out new products like new flavors, new functionalities. All that is on our roadmap. It's possible and it's definitely going to happen. But a year. When we started Coffee Pixels, a year seemed a lot of time. But now, after being in the venture for a year and a half, I have to say that year runs very quickly. And I hope that all the things that I mentioned we will be there. And we'll see. We'll see, because this product is really something that many people believe in, and they say that this is something that you should find into a cash register zone next to, like, I don't know, Orbits or chewing gums and Snickers bars, and so something of of a household name, But then again, that's all it's retail, and we still see that offline is kind of going through a lot of changes, and I really wouldn't put my money on growing only offline. So definitely online side is subscription definitely is going to be launched and active within a year. Plenty of things.
I mean, definitely looking forward to Coffee Pixels coming over to the US so I can try some myself. And thank you so much for your time, Raivis. So Coffee Pixels, again, COFFEEPIXELS.com is a website. Thank you so much again for your time.
Not a problem at all. Hope you enjoyed our message, and hope it inspires someone to start their own idea in the world.
Here's a sneak peek for what's in store in the next Shopify Masters episode.
We just basically figured that we kind of just spent too much, and we were kind of running out of customers or running out of people that we were going to appeal to.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Shopify Masters, the e-commerce podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs powered by Shopify. To get your exclusive 30-day extended trial, visit shopify.com/masters.